Fighting for our children, that is the topic of tonight's byline. I have been warning you for some time that the Educrats are coming for your kids. The liberal ideal that it takes a village to raise a child, well, you may have thought that meant we'd all work together. No, that means that you will give up control of your kids. Remember the administrator that said this in Kitchener, Ontario?
Because we co-parent.
Co-parent. Well, that is now becoming this.
Because we parent.
Yeah, they're dropping the no more co-parent in Vancouver. They actually want to take away parental rights in the name of transgendered rights. Something no one was talking about in the schools a few years ago is now so important that the Vancouver School Board feels it must step in and stand between children and their parents. We first heard about this 2 weeks ago from parent Cheryl Chang.
If a child self-identifies as transgendered, then under this policy, the school will automatically, or the teachers will become advocates for that child. They will be prohibited from sending that child to any programs or services that might attempt to change their gender identity. And if the child requests it, all of this will be kept confidential from their parents.
Now, Ms. Chang came on this show and said she opposes bullying of any kind and is worried about schools stepping between children and their parents. Well, guess what? For speaking out, she and other opponents of this policy update are being bullied, attacked. They're being called homophobic and transphobic for saying that parents need to have a say in the lives of their children. I looked at the proposed policy the Vancouver School Board is advocating, and I tell you, it is worrisome. If adopted, this would apply in all schools from kindergarten to grade 12. Section G, subsection C is the most disturbing. Here's what it has to say. Students' rights to discuss and express their gender identity and/or gender expression openly and to decide when, with whom, and how much private information to share will be recognized and protected. So if this policy goes through, consider the implications. Little Johnny is 6 years old. He tells his teachers, "I think I'm a girl." He wants to be a girl, but he also tells the teacher, "Mommy and Daddy don't like this idea." So now the school must deal with the child as a girl, call the boy a girl, and not tell the parents. The policy accepts self-identification, doesn't set a bottom age limit for this. Another section in the policy on resolving conflict, it reads this way. Disputes will be resolved in a manner that involves the trans student and an adult ally, teacher, service provider, parent, guardian, in the decision-making process to maximize inclusiveness. If there's a dispute, the student will have an ally. They will maximize exclusiveness. But if that ally is not the parent, well then, don't tell the parents. The parents are excluded. I told you, no more co-parent. They now want to be the parent. They want to replace you. Speak up and you're a homophobe or you're transphobic. The policy says the board will define those terms and more. Quote, the board is committed to implementing measures that will define appropriate expectations, language, behaviors, actions in order to prevent discrimination and harassment, ensure that homophobic, transphobic complaints are taken seriously and dealt with expeditiously and effectively through consistently applied policies and procedures. So what if you're complaining that your kid's teacher is interfering in your parent-child relationship? Well, the school has a policy for that. Cut you out, call you homophobic, transphobic, maybe call child services on you. Now, last night at the school board, there was a meeting and parents raised issues with this.
As I read the 2004 policy, each school had a designated safe person for counseling LGBTQ students. Whereas the proposed policy revision requires teachers to advocate for LGBTQ students, even if that may go against their own convictions, including their convictions regarding the collaborative relationship between parents and the school community. What if the teacher feels ethically and morally bound to share information with the parents of a 7-year-old who's asked for confidentiality? Will that teacher be disciplined? There appears to be decreased room for discretion in this policy. I would like to see decision-making regarding specific situations, again, to remain as local as possible and to limit any disempowering of teachers and administrators.
Now, Kim Bolt didn't get an answer to that question. The school board didn't want to give answers, but they were up for posing questions to try and mock Mr. Bolt.
You made some reference to the medical community, and I'm not sure if you're aware that Dr. Patricia Daly, the Chief Medical Health Officer of Vancouver, has endorsed the policy. But one of the things I'd like to ask staff to do is somewhere along the way, even though I'm a firm believer that there's nothing in legislation which requires us to have expertise and agreement by any professional organizations, a list of the different professional staff who have made presentations during the 3 meetings. I think that would be useful for us when we consider the policy at Committee 3. So just curious whether you knew that Dr. Patricia Daly had endorsed the policy.
Yeah. The written submissions that I could find on the website, I read through almost all of them. And there's a significant number of healthcare professionals obviously advocating for the policy. That is evident to me. Whether they're representative of the whole is my question.
So let me ask you a follow-up question. Do you think the Chief Health Officer of Vancouver is representative and speaks for the city on health matters?
Obviously, she speaks in her role on behalf of the yes.
Just a clarification as well, there was reference to education organizations. It's my understanding that we also have received endorsement from the Simon Fraser University and UBC faculties of education.
I hope you could make that out. The audio was a bit muddled, I know, but the bottom line is that the school board's saying they have their experts. That's the school board's message. They have their experts. They don't need to hear from pesky parents on what might be best for students. So sit down, shut up, conform. Is this happening in your local school board? You should be checking. A year or so ago, this wasn't an issue, period. Now it is the issue, and for some reason, they've decided to use gender-confused children and how they're treated by schools as a weapon to attack parents, parental rights. They're attacking the family with this, every family. You need to check the rules in your school district before it's too late. And that's the byline.